Here I am at the Amatara Welleisure Resort on the southeastern corner of Phuket. It's a beautiful resort, this one. And you know what? I've been so fortunate to stay in two resorts whilst travelling here in Thailand. 5 days ago, I left the Shores Resort, which is on the southwestern tip of Phuket. Now the Shores is at Katathani, and we had 5 lovely nights there too. Now, which resort is the best? Expat Lifestyle with Bats. Share, thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this episode as I tried to compare the Shores at Katathani with Amatara at Panwa Beach. With a bit of luck, I'll come to a conclusion at the end of this episode. So sit back, get your popcorn, get your notepad out, and let's enjoy this episode as I reflect a bit on our stay at these two beautiful resorts here in Phuket, Thailand. First impressions, just like that scene behind me. It's pretty good, isn't it? First impression is very important. It sets the mindset for that resort. And look, without a doubt, the Amatara reception area is hands down much better than the reception area at the Shores. So I'll show you a little bit of footage right now, but the first check, the first tick of approval is with the Amatara resort. Now the overall cost for both resorts, the cost of food and drinks was also similar. So I can't split those two resorts there. So a check for both. Now what about the rooms? Both villas had a plunge pool and the cost for both was very similar. But personally, the villa we had at the Amatara was a bit more spacious. I felt the decor was just a little bit more superior. You know, we had a lovely living area. So the Amatara villa plunge pool gets my tick of approval. And I encourage you to go back and watch my 2 episodes because I've done a great little presentation, in my opinion, of both of those villas. Check that out. Now the location's always important too. By the way, a nice little restaurant there. Had a meal there last night. So the Shores at Katathani Beach, it's close to Kata, and also Buongiorno, and also very close to Patong Beach. So if you like a bit more spice in your life, the Shores has got a better location because Amatara is at Panwa Beach, and there's not a lot around other than a very close little village which has got some value. So, location, a check to the Shores. Now we all love our massages, don't we? And the health spas at both resorts were very professional. Now I didn't have any there personally, but my wife did say she felt the health spa at the Amatara, they had more services on offer. So the menu of all the different types of massages that you could hope for was more vast at the Amatara. So check, tick for the Amatara Health Spa. Having said that, you go to the local village massage places. It's very cheap, but you know, you've got sheets for walls and so on, and not quite as professional, are they? Hey, what about the large infinity pools? Look, I do like having a swim, so that's important to me too. Now I felt the infinity pool at the Amatara was a better option for me. So check for the infinity pool, Amatara resort. The very important aspect regarding service. Essential, isn't it, at all resorts? And look, for both resorts, the Thai people are beautiful, so respectful, so polite, so patient. However, we had to find somewhere where we could split the two resorts. And look, we were at the Amatara having a drink. It was during happy hours. Now, I'm not going to say what section of the resort because I don't want anyone getting into trouble. But at 6 p.m. when the happy hour finished, we looked up. They'd packed up and gone. hadn't told us. So in that regard, the service wasn't fantastic. Therefore, based on that one example, we're giving the service category tick or check of approval to the Shores Resort. Now, if you haven't watched either episode on the Shores and the Amatara, I did do a brief section on the fitness centre, and for me personally, that's an important aspect regarding the facilities at the resort. And my conclusion there was that the Amatara Resort's fitness centre was a slightly better setup. Check to the Amatara. The drinks menu. Now I'm talking about cocktails here. The cocktail menu at the Amatara, not as vast as the Shores. So that was interesting. And the Shores, tick of approval. The all-important Vista. It's a mindful activity, isn't it? Looking at the beautiful scenes that are presented in front of us, just like the one here. Magnificent. Now, in my opinion, and again, this is all my opinion, I felt the Shores being on the ocean with a bit of surf and so on appealed to my senses a bit more. So, check of approval to the Vista, the views at the Shores on that southwestern tip of Phuket. And what about my present location? It's very, very nice. Now, all I'll say is, I'm back in Italy, but if you want to know the exact precise location, hey, you're going to have to watch my episode next week. Now, let's continue with this comparison. Hey, lovely piazza here, by the way. Now, what about the local village? Now, the local village, so you walk out of the Shores and you're right in amongst it. The only thing is all the little shops, restaurants and massage places and so on, they had the same uniforms as those at the resort. So there's a bit of connection there. So it wasn't quite as authentic as the local village that was only a 400 metre walk from Amatara. And I've got a little bit of footage of both villages. So check that out yourself. Come up with your own conclusion. But I like a bit of authenticity, don't you? And that's why I've given the check of approval to Amatara. Now, the beach at the Shores compared to the Amatara, interesting one. The Shores was a lovely beach, 500 metres in width, lots of sand, and actually a bit of surf when we were there. And that's the sort of beach I do like. Compare that to the beach, which was lovely, down at Amatara. At high tide, beautiful, but when the tide went out, you could see it was all rock, actually quite a shallow beach. So it was a lovely beach to look at. Not really a great beach to swim because you'd be stepping on, sharp bits of rock, maybe an urchin, something like that. So the check of approval for the beach goes to the Shores. Now, the all-important swings, which both resorts had. Now, at the Shores, they had a massive swing up on the hilltop. A bit tricky to climb onto, but once you got on that, oh my God, it was magnificent. You could swing all day up there. Contrast that with the three swings down at the beach at Amatara. And in my opinion, the ambience of that area at Amatara was beautiful, so positive, and the swings were a little bit more organic. Based on that, the three swings down at the Amatara beach get my final check and tick of approval. By the way, it's beautiful here. Do yourself a favour when you come to Italy. The location I'll reveal next week. And look, I hope you've gained something out of this comparison video, a comparison between the Shores Resort on the southwestern tip of Phuket and here at Amatara on the southeastern tip of Phuket. Both lovely resorts, both have advantages and perhaps disadvantages, although that's being a bit harsh. But I'm sure you've all been anticipating my final decision. In my opinion, which of the two resorts would I come back to? if I had that opportunity. Well, let's have a look at the chart or table I've put together now. And here it is. So during this episode, I hope I've shown you some of the reasons why I've chosen Amatara over the shores. Expat Lifestyle fans, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Share, thumbs up and subscribe. I'm looking forward to seeing you next episode. Ciao and have a good week.